Hey everybody, today I'm in downtown Noblesville, Indiana, which is a historic place. It's really different, the downtown area, than downtown Indianapolis or any of the downtown areas that you have that surround Noblesville. So when you get into Fishers or Westfield or Carmel, some really popular northern cities, Noblesville is very different. So we're just gonna explore the downtown area of Noblesville a little bit and see what it actually looks like and why it's a little bit different than the downtowns of some of the other cities. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If you want to know everything there is to know about places like Noblesville, Indiana, or the downtown area, or any of the surrounding cities and towns of Indianapolis, or Indianapolis itself, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also tap that little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now we have people reaching out to us from all over the country with questions about what it's like to live in a place like Noblesville, or what it's like to live in a place like Indianapolis, or where could I live in Indianapolis or Noblesville, or any of the surrounding towns and cities. So if you have questions at all about any of those places and what it might be like to live there, then make sure you reach out to us any way that you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back when it comes time for you to make your move to a place like Noblesville, Indianapolis, or any of the surrounding cities and towns. All right, so today we're gonna explore the downtown area of Noblesville a little bit. And honestly, it's pretty difficult to do in one short video, but we'll take a walk around and just see what it looks like in general. And I will say that downtown Noblesville, it is an exceptionally cool place. Now it's very busy, so I'm walking out of what you can see here is a little alley, North 1823. But a little alley right onto the square of Noblesville. And it really truly is a square. So across the street, you've got the Hamilton County Courthouse. In fact, if you were to buy a house in Hamilton County, which is the county just to the north of Indianapolis, and you have Carmel, Fishers, Westfield, Noblesville, all cities within it. There are more than that, some towns even further to the north, but those are the big ones. Those are the four big cities in Hamilton County. But if you purchase property in Hamilton County and you have to file, let's say, a mortgage exemption or even a homestead exemption, although most title companies do that for you, the mortgage exemption, this is where you would go. So even if you bought a home way in West Carmel, you gotta come over here to do that, unless you do it online, which you could do it online, but if you had to do it in person, this is where you're heading, right into downtown Noblesville. But the downtown area of Noblesville is what I would call vintage, definitely. So it's older and it has this, original type of vibe, and it's something that, well, Noblesville is working hard really to maintain, honestly. It's pretty different than the downtown area of what you're gonna find in any of the other surrounding cities. So like I said, with downtown Indianapolis, obviously very different there just because of the size and things that are going on, but also in nearby Westfield, Fishers, and Carmel. So all have some pretty cool downtown areas, and I'm gonna have to cross the street here and make sure I'm looking around because, like I said, this is a busy place. You got the courthouse across the street, Hamilton County Courthouse. There's a lot happening there, of course. And then so many businesses, and it is very commercial, although it's not commercial in that it has a tremendous number of chains, anything like that, like chain restaurants, chain stores. It's a lot of original places, honestly, but it's still a hub for Noblesville. So a lot of businesses are through here. So you get a little bit of traffic and some people walking around. Now there aren't a whole lot right now because I'm walking through here just on a weekday morning. So you don't have a whole lot of bar, restaurant, shop traffic with people just yet. Later today, that'll probably be the case, and of course tonight, and then when you get into the weekends, then it's very crowded. But the downtown area of Noblesville is different than what you have in the other surrounding cities. And it's just because they have held on to this feel. The other downtown areas are much more contemporary and very new. So things have been renovated or completely torn down, and brand new buildings have been put up in places like Carmel and Fishers especially. Now the downtown area of Carmel is unbelievable. The Arts and Design District and Midtown, that whole area of Carmel is huge. It's very big, tons to do, lots of shops, lots of restaurants, and of course plenty of events going on throughout the entire year. You've got things that happen during Christmas, you have things that happen during the summer. I mean, you name it, there's something almost always going on there in downtown Carmel. Almost always. But when you compare that to a place like this with downtown Noblesville, the feel is very different. This one here absolutely has a vintage vibe to it. So if you're just looking, now this video is being filmed in 2021, so of course if you were to visit in, let's say, 2024, 2025, well, of course some of these shops and restaurants could change at that point. But if you just look across over here, we've got Linden Tree, Gift Shop, Children's Boutique, Bash Boutique. I mean, these are places that are pretty original, pretty unique. There's actually Sid's Bar down there on the corner, which I've been to several times, but it's been years. Really, really old bar, but a pretty cool place. Just all these little individual, and Kirk Hardware, I mean, little hardware stores like that, they are few and far between anymore. So Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, those are places that have kind of just taken over. And, you know, they're great, obviously. They have pretty much everything that you need. But little neighborhood hardware stores like that, that's pretty rare. But that is the feel of what this downtown Noblesville is actually like. So as I turn the corner here, making sure that I thought I had somebody coming up behind me. But I'm looking over here on the other side, actually down the other street. There's Primeval Brewing. There's a coffee shop just right there around the corner, and I was actually over there just a few minutes ago, and I know people are parked. There's a couple of boutiques where they sell vintage clothing, and that'd be for adults over on that street as well. You've got this little shop over here, this Kiln Creations, where you paint your own pottery. I know that's kind of a popular thing, but pretty neat little spot, very unique to a place like downtown Noblesville. Across the street also is an Italian restaurant that's been here for a really long time. It's Matteo's. And my wife and I ate there not all that long ago, actually. And an original Italian restaurant. It's pretty hard to go wrong with Italian pretty much anywhere with any restaurant. But that one is actually a whole lot bigger than it looks on the outside. Right now, unfortunately, there's a truck in front of it. But just on the other side of me, you can see it there. You can sit outside if you want to, but for the most part, their seating is on the inside. But original, absolutely a cool place to be, and certainly a great option if you're not just in Noblesville, but if you're in Carmel, or if you're in nearby Fishers, or right next door we've got Westfield, just off to the west of me here. People will come from those cities to go and eat at a place like that. So now I'm coming up here on the corner on the far southeast side of the square, and if you look down this direction, it's more of the same, although now you're starting to get kind of a little bit further out of the square going off to the east. This is State Road 32 that goes right here on the south side of the square, and it's a busy thoroughfare, definitely. So when I say that, you know, there's some traffic through here, it's not just necessarily traffic that goes into this particular square, it's actually traffic that is traveling through this area. So it can get kind of jammed and backed up really almost any day of the week right here on State Road 32. State Road 32 will take you right over into Westfield, or you can take this east and get over to State Road 37, take that south and get into Fishers and Indianapolis. I-69 is right over that way, although decent distance from here, but it does merge with US 37 as you get a little bit further south of here. Over on the corner, one of the cooler places I feel like in this whole area of Noblesville is Uptown Cafe, which is a cool little breakfast place over on the corner. It's kind of comparable to Rosie's place over on the opposite side. In fact, when people do close on their home, big truck carrying some sod, loud, probably going over into Westfield in a brand new build. So I'll tell them after they close on their house and they need to file that mortgage exemption, if they don't want to do it online, they can come down here, do it at the courthouse, and then go have breakfast over there at the Uptown Cafe, or go have lunch or brunch or something like that at Rosie's place, which is just kind of a fun thing to do, and it's kind of a neat way, especially if you're new to Hamilton County and new to Noblesville. It's a cool way to come and just see what it has to offer, because there is a tremendous amount. Just ahead of me, actually one of the oldest places in this area from what I can remember, and I don't know if that's actually a fact as far as the oldest places in this entire square, but when I first moved to Indianapolis back in the 90s, Barley Island is right over there in that reddish tan building, and it's a restaurant but also a brewery, and it's really one of the first breweries that I knew about, and I'm pretty sure there weren't that many breweries in Indianapolis or Noblesville or any of the surrounding areas in the 90s. And of course the beer brewery scene has since exploded, and I've lost track of how many breweries there are in Indianapolis, but I think it's near 100. I mean, it is an absurd amount now. And of course, there are a lot of cities in the country that have tons of breweries, but Indianapolis is not far behind. But that's one of the originals, and it's hard for me to believe that a lot of breweries are even still open with how much competition they've got, but still kicking. So anyway, got that, and of course, like I said, the Primeval Brewing on just the other side of the square over here, which is fantastic too. It's really, really a cool place. So if you were to go a little bit west of here, down this State Road 32, that part of Noblesville, once you get closer to and cross the White River, because the White River is literally just maybe a quarter of a mile over to the west of me here. If you get over in that direction, then you'll get to Federal Hill Commons. And that's a pretty neat spot where you could say it's part of downtown Noblesville, even though it's not over here on the square. But there's a little amphitheater there at Federal Hill Commons, and that is really exceptionally new. But it's one of those things that if you're gonna visit any city and you wanted to get to know it, let's say in very, very short order, you know, it's hard to do because you might hit it on an off day, but at least you could see a place like that and know that there's some events that do go on. I'm gonna cross this street. The signal's right for me. All right, and right across the street, another little thing, the 3 Rusty Nails. That's a cool little antique shop. Down the street here, you've got a couple other restaurants and some neat spots as well. Just a cool feel walking through here. Anyway, the Federal Hill Commons, little amphitheater there, and they've got concerts during the better part of the year as far as the weather is concerned. So basically in the summer. But coming from downtown Noblesville to get over there, so let's say you wanted to come over here and have dinner, and you know, you're with your kids, something like that, and then you wanted to walk over to a show, you could, and it's not really physically that far, but State Road 32 is really so busy and so loud that it's not real pleasant, honestly. And if I were with my kids, I'd be a little bit worried going along that busy road. So anyway, but it's over there, and you could kind of consider it part of the downtown Noblesville area, although that's super contemporary and much, much newer. And got some construction of some kind going on down that alley, a little bit loud. But anyhow, the vibe over there is pretty different than what you're gonna have in this particular spot in Noblesville, with it being so old. So if you were going to Noblesville and you wanted to get to know Noblesville, this is a great place to start. If you live in the area, you've never actually been to Noblesville, this is a great place to come over and see what it's all about. Because if you do live in the area, even not in Noblesville, this place is open for you. You know, like this right here, this gives you May, June, July, a lot of the things that are actually happening in downtown Noblesville. Plenty of things happening over that doesn't look like there is right now, because like I said, I am here on a weekday morning and it is relatively quiet with something like that, no doubt about it. But usually this place will be popping on a Friday, Saturday, even on a Sunday during the day especially, and a lot of times through the week, because you know, they're going to have some events going on here in downtown Noblesville. They'll have them down at Federal Hill Commons and some other places throughout the entire city. So again, it is definitely a spot that you can use as a destination, just some places to go that are a little bit different, instead of going to just commercial area of Noblesville or area of Indianapolis or area of CARMEL, a place that has a lot of originality and a lot going on. So if you have questions about places like downtown Noblesville, Indiana, or downtown CARMEL, downtown Fishers, or even downtown Indianapolis, or any of the surrounding cities and suburbs of Indianapolis and Indianapolis itself, make sure that you reach out any way that you know how. And until the next one, we'll see you later.